All right. So we're live. So this is only my second live. And the first time I had one viewer. I haven't actually found out who it was, but don't know if expect anyone to be here live while I'm talking. You have my kitty in the background, Micah, and the other one just left the room for the office. So, I have one viewer. What if it's the same person? Anyway, let's get to the topic because I don't want to do a long video. I do plan on eventually doing my reaction videos, thinking of creating another channel that might be somewhat anonymous, but we'll see. For now, I'm just enjoying myself and having fun. I crocheted my hair, and this is important because I I'm talking today about mental health with the recent fallen people that took their lives, like um, Chesley Christ. And I also want to bring up Ian Alexander really quickly. Happy Black History Month as well. But I was watching a couple of news clips on Chesley Christ. I saw the news when it initially broke, but I didn't really pay much attention to it besides saying, "Oh man, she looks so pretty. She's so pretty." I just crocheted my hair. I kind of, have the same style as her. Kind of look like her. Um, I didn't know much about her. I know she had won Miss America a couple years ago, and that she was now on Hollywood Extra. What I didn't know that I found out tonight was that she was also very accomplished. She was a college athlete, um, and she had her law degree. She had an MBA. She actually was hospitalized during that time for overexhaustion, overworking herself. Um, she was one of many siblings. She was single, or at least unmarried. I don't know. Single, it's hard to say. Sometimes people are in situationships or, kind of dating. Unmarried, we'll say, and living in a different state from most of her family. We'll say that. So, a lot of things when I finally like kind of saw what the the what her story was like, I was like, oh, this is a little too familiar. And obviously I'm here, but she was in her early 30s. I think she had just turned 30 or maybe 31. Um, she was away from her hometown. She was highly accomplished, and she, on the outside, looked like everything was together, but obviously was not. And um, I was watching one news program, and they brought in another mental health specialist. Well, I don't even know if she's a mental health specialist per se, but she runs a youth group for Black children or youths um, to help with their mental health. They do journaling, they do have some counseling, some group stuff. And she was like, especially with Black women, there's this idea that you have to be strong all the time, and no, and you know, it's not promoted. Black women's vulnerability, it's sometimes a sense of pride, and just a little teeny bit about myself. I had similar um, upbringings in that I was always, proud of how strong I was. I used to call it, kind of like getting through the struggle, like the struggle life, but I always overcame the struggle. So that's a sense of pride. But it really did take a lot of self reflection and my own mental health work, and realizing that I don't want to live a life of struggle or excuse abuse or dysfunction just so I can say that, well, at least I made it through it. And a lot of accomplished women, Black women especially, we are the fastest growing um, group of um, demographic to graduate college, to get higher degrees, to enter high stress professions. She wasn't, I mean, I don't know if she was practicing law. I know she was on extra. She was very much in the public eye, and she won Miss America at a very young age. I think very young age. She said it's, she's one of the oldest people to have won that, so I guess not that young. But she looked very young. To me, she still had, you know, decades, half a century plus to live a wonderful life, but she must have felt that she didn't. It wouldn't be wonderful. Maybe she had subscribed to the idea of overcoming struggle, being the first at something, working yourself into the hospital as a sense of pride. And that's really sad. And I know a lot of my friends, like I was like, I'm out of here. This stuff is getting too heavy. I know a lot of friends of mine, you know, young Black women who are highly, highly, highly accomplished. First in their families to do something way more accomplished than their male counterparts in their family, or even in their demographic, age-wise, and they're lonely and tired, mostly tired. And I've always, came off social media a long time ago. I came off Facebook. I have an Instagram so that when I meet people, I can give out that information rather than phone numbers and stuff, because I'm not going to call or text nobody. But I don't update it. I don't look at Instagram um, because I think it's was getting to me, because I had all these compliments, I had accomplishments, I had a sense of pride in what I do. However, you know, some of the other things I think I sacrificed to get as far as I did, seeing that so joyously, portrayed on Instagram was just it was too much. So, that was my own decision I made for my mental health. I was on Twitter a lot because Twitter's different. Twitter, everybody's angry. Everybody's an activist. Everybody, we we welcome the misery. It's different. Instagram is just very everything just is so bright and shiny and joyful. And I know life has those moments, obviously, but if you are at all not in that time of joyousness and bright, bubbly, shiny perfection, um, than seeing constant pictures of that. And people, have filters on their pictures, and people edit things and they Photoshop stuff. So it's not even real. So now you feel like you're competing against something. It's not even real. So say all that to say that, I don't know her inner monologue, obviously, or inner thinking. Everyone's so surprised, like, she looked like she had a that's what they kept saying. It's almost a little insulting, I think, to her. I understand that conversation needs to be had because people close to her family, people that knew her at work, people that, casual people like me who just happened to see her. She looks so put together and so happy. Even her most recent interviews look so happy, and she's smiling, and she's this and she's that. But I think there were definitely clues. I mean, she had written an article about how turning 30, she realized that the time of her being um, worthy in the society's eyes was limited, and that's crazily, like, not to say it's crazy, but that is incredibly um, it's incredibly sad, for lack of better, because I didn't really plan anything to say. It just comes off very um, lonely and cry for help in a way that I think a lot of us would overlook. Why do you feel why do you think there, especially maybe because she was a beauty pageant winner, and she's looking at possibly her beauty being devalued as she gets older. But that just sounds like 30 is young. I am older than 30. I'm in my early 30s still, I would say. And I feel like I'm starting a whole new life. I'm starting a whole new life. I might change my whole career, you know? So it's just a feel for her, rest in peace. She's not here any longer. Um, so my sympathies and my empathy for her is now, you know, not as useful as it could have been 3 days ago when she was still here, But I like the end um, message that everyone's leaving with is that just ask people how they're doing, like frankly, and without judgment, and then listen with an open heart and open ears. Just ask, because you never know where that conversation will end up. And some people feel like they just that no one sees them. And it's interesting only because I bring it up one more time, because with me, I used to always feel like I am grinding, I'm grinding, I'm grinding, I'm grinding, I'm grinding. Part of the reason I left New York, but I'm grinding, I'm grinding, I'm grinding, I'm grinding, I'm grinding. And even on my hard days, when I felt so miserable inside, and I felt like I was carrying around a dark cloud, and I felt like I was being testy and I sometimes apologize, and maybe people were just being nice, trying to tell me like, oh, no, apologize. But it seemed genuinely. They were like, oh, I didn't even notice you were in a mood. I didn't even notice you were feeling sad. And I remember one time thinking, like, even if I'm really sad, no one's gonna know. No, for whatever reason, I have a persona, a disposition, which I think she did as well, where everything always just looks good, looks fine. There's a lot of smiles in my life. I enjoy life as much. I enjoy pleasure. I enjoy happy things and good things. I like to be around happy people. I like to lift the mood. So I don't know if that has something to do with it, but I definitely had come to the realization at one point that I was like, wow, even when I feel miserable, even if I'm crying in the bathroom and I come back out, nobody knows. And in a way, nobody wants to know too. And I'm not blaming nobody. Um, we all do this where we ask in casualness how everyone's doing, and we're going through things ourselves, to some degree. So we're not expecting anyone to dive deep into their issues, nor do we really want it, unless we're really close friends. However, if you're gonna go on after someone like takes their life and say, "Oh, I can't believe it. I wish I had known all this stuff," then we need to take some accountability for one, asking people how are they doing and actually caring how they're doing, and actually listening to what they're saying and how they're doing, and not just as a pleasantry or as manners, or in passing. If you really don't want people to take their lives, and if you really want to try and find the people who for whatever reason you just don't understand when they're going through something, then you gotta like ask and mean it. So that's for that. Lastly, Ian Alexander breaks my heart. I don't know what's going. This is Regina King's son. I want to say his name as often as possible because so many times I saw, and I didn't know him. He wasn't in uh, a very popular person or in a celebrity, so why would we know him, right? But so many headlines of Regina's son, takes his life, and everyone's very sad for her, and I'm very sad for her, sad for all the families and all the people involved. But I felt like he was just as also just overshadowed by by even in taking his life, he still didn't get the recognition that perhaps he was somewhat looking for. Now, again, I don't know him. I can't speak for these people that are taking their lives. But, if you've ever at all felt sad and felt, low, um, and ever wanted to act out in any degree, I can't imagine even going so far as taking your life and you're still like downplayed and overshadowed. And I understand his mom is very famous, very wonderful, as far as I know, very wonderful person, very accomplished. But this is not about her. I mean, I know that sounds terrible to say. I'm sure she's hurting, and we are more familiar with her than with him. So all of the confusion, and it's not about us either, but whatever, all the confusion we feel and all of the sympathy we feel and everything goes out to her. But Ian Alexander was going through it. He was going through it so much so that he decided that life was not worth living. And he was another case of like, she always gave him praise. He was always her date to the things, which is kind of weird. I almost felt like neither of them had other people. They had to rely on each other. Maybe that was a lot of pressure on him. Again, can't speak for him. Nothing against Regina King, but it was just the little bits. We barely know anything because everyone's giving them privacy, which is appropriate, but we barely know anything about him. It sounds like he was just also very alone, you know. Maybe he felt, you know, he was her whole world and she was his whole world. And they were so interlocked that that was his whole life. And he could never, um, not compete. I don't think it's a competitive thing, but if his whole life is just going to always be Regina King's son, then that's pretty depressing. I don't know if that was the case. Inquiring minds would like to know. Sure, I feel, I hope he's resting in peace. I hope the turmoil that he had is quieted and peaceful now. But again, he seemed so happy. He seemed so put together. He had a wonderful um, mother who said that she loved him unconditionally, and they got matching tattoos. So, you know, it's again, it feels weird. It feels confusing. There's a dissonance there, and I feel whenever I feel a dissonance in something, anyone should. They should question why. That, we we ignore a lot of things because it's easier to just go on with what is familiar. So when there's dissonance, we don't probe too deep and we're like, well, I don't know what's going on, move on. But if it's something important to you, and I think mental health is important, especially the everything looks great mental health, not like, oh, he's addicted to drugs, he's always had a traumatic life, in and out of rehab. And not that those taking of their lives, not that they are any less worthy. Anyone who feels that life is no longer living is a really, really sad, sad story and tragic. But it's interesting, the Anthony Bourdains, the Kate Spades, the people that you think just, what do you have? The wealth, you have the fame, you have this, you have support, you have unconditional love, you have matching tattoos, you get taken to all these award shows. So what is the problem? So I don't know what more to say than, you know, it's more mental health, more therapy, more counseling, more self-esteem building. Um, used to be anti-self-help books and things like that. But that was just my ego being trying to protect um, you know, my insecurities really, and keep, oh, I don't need any help. Why are these help? They're probably just preying on weak people or something. So that, I don't believe that anymore. I think there's a lot of trauma in people's lives. I think we write it off. I think we normalize it, especially with Black women. We overlook it. We stride through. We struggle on. I'm not for that struggle life anymore. No way, Jose. My life is and will continue to be easy and peaceful and blessed and joyful. Um, and that's the life I deserve and strive for. So that's just my mental health. Um, Rest in peace, rest in power to the fallen soldiers. Well, soldiers is a weird term, but to our fallen, so young. Please, everyone, get the mental health. I put the suicide hotline, the national one, in the description so that you can, if you feel need to, definitely go and look it. Now, two people I felt like I saw like someone come in and come out. Well, I don't know if it's the same person or two different people. So I know it's like 1 o'clock on the East Coast. It's 10 o'clock on the West Coast now. So I didn't really expect anybody to see this. Matter of fact, I prefer that no one to see this. But definitely I'm going to put up some videos. But taking my time, doing my thing, doing my mental health. I hope this was helpful. Please have these conversations everywhere, especially Black women. Especially Black women. We don't get enough corrective promotion. Thanks, Chrissy. We don't get enough positive, vulnerable, deserving examples. in media, in life, in narratives. We deserve to be taken care of just as much, to be protected just as much as any other group, especially any other female group, because all the other female groups, they have, you know, more protection. When Black women die, when Black women suffer or struggle, it's like no one cares. Even with the oh no, I don't remember her name. She was very young and she went out with a man 14 years her senior on the Bumble date, and you know, her death was ruled an accident. Maybe it was, but like it's just sketch. You know, he was just so much older. They didn't even investigate him. Absolutely disappointed. Absolutely disappointed in how they handled that. How, where's the march for her? You know, there's just there's a lot of um, you know, causes to rally for and march for, but I am sticking up. I am only fighting for Black women right now because we don't have enough of us that fight. And the Black, I can't use the F term for it because I put it in a comment and YouTube took it down. So, but like a Black woman is life is ended by someone every 6.5 hours in this country. Terrible. Not news, not protected. So you know what? Prayers, and that's the fight that I'm willing to give my attention to and my effort and my energy to. Heart goes out to everybody else who's struggling, but Black women don't deserve to struggle. That's not our plight. That's not why we're on this earth. And and if that is what we're on the earth, then a lot more of us are going to take our lives because that's not fair. That's not the human condition, to be expected to always suffer. Terrible. Anyway, I wanted to end on a happy note. Hope everyone's having a fantastic Valentine's Day. I have Valentine's Day plans. I'm so excited for it. It's none of your business, but I do have plans. And yeah, just keep protecting your mental health, building your self esteems, being stable and secure and safe, and continue to live a good life. Okay, that's the end of my stream. I'll see you guys another time. Bye bye.